Welcome back. So I know that last video said that was like kind of the most conspiracy theoried video that I was ever going to put out or have put out. And when I ran it back, it really wasn't. Like, when I was actually listening to it, I kind of didn't tell y'all nothing. So it wasn't as conspiracy theoried as I thought it would have came out. But ain't nothing wrong with that, because like I said then, that ain't really the route I'm trying to take. But yeah, side note, this man last week told me that I need to give more. And I'm just thinking, like, you been listening to my videos or something? Because what made you say that? And he was just like, I just don't feel like you give enough to us. It's like, first of all, who asked you? Second of all, if you don't like it, go somewhere else. The fuck? Like, I know this is supposed to be a Christian, Holy Spirit filled space, but boy, didn't you hear in the last video, before that video, I then said I'm still human. This is still flesh. Anyway, side note over. So this time I want to talk about what I actually had wrote down the first time that I was going to talk about in the last video. And again, because it really do be Holy Spirit, I don't know how it's going to come out, but I'm going to try to give it to y'all the best way I can, because sometimes stuff come out all jumbled up, and I heard that in the last video too, but it is what it is. So I was talking to one of my friends, and we were talking about voices, and I was just like, I don't show my face on there because I don't really want to be associated to the YouTube page. And he was just like, they gonna know you by your voice. And I'm just like, my voice distinctive, but it ain't that distinctive. And it made me start thinking about how many other people we can hear them before we see them and know exactly who they are. And it's quite a few people out there like that. Like, that's not a bad thing. But for me, it's not something that I want, to be honest with you. It's not that I don't like being on camera. I just don't like what come with a lot of stuff with being a public figure with my hands in quotation marks that you can't see. But bringing it back to the Bible, it made me think about how it's so many voices out in the world trying to grab your attention. And it's a Bible verse where Jesus is basically saying his sheep know his voice. And with so many distractions and the enemy literally trying to steal God's children, it's important to know his voice. And with different things that take place in my day-to-day, I get really annoyed. And I pray about it, and I ask God, like, let me know when it's you compared to it's somebody else trying to send something towards me. And I go even bolder with my prayer, and I ask that he send whatever somebody trying to bring towards me back to them, and let me make it known that it's them and not him. And when he does it, I'm not really shocked by it, but when it's him doing something towards me, I am shocked, because I just be like, well, Lord, like, what made you choose that route to speak to me with? And it's like, I know that you know me and all of my inner parts, and you know how I will understand who you are to me. And I know that in certain situations, you would know that I will pick up on it and know that that's you because of our relationship. And it's just like, back to the voices, I was telling my friend, like, well, I was about to tell him, if you said me, my mom, my aunt, and one of my cousins in the room, you probably wouldn't be able to distinguish which one is which by our voice, because to me, I feel like we sound alike in a lot of ways. But when I started thinking about it, I would be able to tell the difference. And I don't know if he would be able to tell, like, this is a different person, this is a different person, this is a different person by the way we speak. Like, it's certain fluctuations in tones or just tones themselves that are a little different that between my mom, my aunt, myself, and my cousin that can make the difference in us. And it's little things that take place throughout the day where it's like, okay, yeah, that was this spirit trying to send something towards me, or okay, that's one of God's children seeking him out, and oh, okay, Lord, that's you trying to speak to me and teach me something in this moment. And it's like, unless you have relationship, certain things you wouldn't be able to pinpoint to who it's from. And in this time, like, it's really important to know that voice, to know what's coming from God and what's not, because the world is changing and it's not changing for the better. I wish it was, but it's just a lot of things taking place that just are wicked. And it came back down to this movie I was watching after that, right? That's my transition, because I'll get to talking and it won't be no transition. You'll be like, girl, what are you talking about? But I was watching this movie and this dude was pretty much a predator. And he was basically trying to make this girl seem like she was making the decisions for herself. So he had asked her to do something totally twisted and perverted, but he'll question it or word the question as if it's something she wants to do. So, another example. I say things and it may seem like I'm pinpointing people out specifically, but that's not my intention. It's just these are the way that I learned the lesson or interpreted something that I needed to learn through the way somebody else did something. So I was listening to somebody the other day and they were pretty much saying, like, you need to watch what you saying, how you saying it, because what you saying is going to shape your reality. And you making the world, I'm going to say miserable, because you keep speaking out misery. And it's like, I hear that ideology. I understand what you're saying when you're going that way. But this world is wicked. And what the enemy does is he plants little seeds in your mind, or thought processes or ways or things that you may have seen and may pick up a little bit or get influenced by, and make it seem like, you came up with that thought process on your own. But really, he put it there in your face for you to pick it up. And then when it influences your demise or makes you get out of character, he makes it and twist it as if it's something you chose to downfall on yourself. Like, you chose to trip yourself up. You chose to fall in that pit. But I'm not letting you know that I laid this pit right here in front of you, put a rug over it, and then when you tripped over it or fell in it, I'm going to say, well, it was there the whole time. How you didn't see it? You should have known not to fall into it. But it's deception. And it's just like, granted, of course, I want the best for my life. Of course, I want to speak positivity and I want to see the best outcomes come out. And I would love to speak that over everybody else. But when you see things going astray every day, you see the negativity of just how the world is turning and the way that the enemy puts things out there to make people fall, and you don't speak up on it just because you don't want the negativity to happen, doesn't stop it from happening. Like, the enemy intentionally does it But when you speak up on it, now it's turned on you as if you're the one that caused the problem. And that is a mental, I cuss, and I'm trying not to, for the sake of the Holy Spirit and trying to be holy. But it mentally F's with you, and that's messed up, because why would you want to psychologically put somebody in, why you want somebody or to cause somebody to stumble? That's why in the Bible it say, like, the Lord gonna judge them people even more, causing his people to stumble. Because, like, you intentionally doing these things to make people fall into pits, to point the finger back at them like they in the wrong, just to fit your agendas. But that brought me back to thinking about giants. So there's Bible verses, multiple Bible verses where in the Old Testament they're defeating the Philistines. So in David and Goliath, Goliath was a Philistine. And when we hear that Bible verse, the first thought is like David was fighting a giant. But it's multiple times that God had people go up against the Philistines, which were technically giants. Every time, well, most of the time, God delivered his people and had them beat the giants. And here we are in a new, I hate to say a new world, but in a new life cycle. And there's the enemy trying to make it seem worse than what it is. Granted, it's a lot of evilness going on, and the enemy is trying to turn the world as wicked as possible. But God has so many children and so many guidance out there where he's trying to lead us and point him back to him, or just show how much he truly loves his children, that even though it looks like the enemy's winning, we have to remember that God literally wins in the end. Like, we are victorious in the end. We're just living out the prophecy of us winning in the end. And just like when, don't give me the line, because I be mixing up Bible stories by mistake, but Moses had like a little Moses that actually went over to the land of milk and honey, and he saw giants there too. And it was just like, when he came back over, he was like, yeah, it's giants over there, but they got some good stuff over there. Like, as long as the Lord got us, like, we can go over there and get that. Like, the Lord said that's our land, so let's go grab what's ours. And people can be afraid of unknown places, thinking that things that seem like they're bigger than you can overtake you. But you got to remember, your God bigger than all of that. And he's already set it in place and marked those places out for you to overcome and take what's yours in the first place. So it's like, granted, it seemed like the enemy is making you fall into your own demise, but at the end of the day, you got to remember who you are and who God is in you, and overcome whatever messed up reality he trying to make it seem like you placed in. That brings me over to alternate versions. And basically, I had a dream last night where somebody in the dream was just like, I can't remember exactly how it was stated, but it was like, the person was like, you don't even know that you in alternate realities. And I was just sitting in a dream like, dude, I know this is a dream. What are you talking about? And it was just like, you just don't even know. It's multiple realities going on at the same time right now, and you don't even know. And in the dream, I'm thinking to myself, like, I know this is a dream. So I know this is a reality of in this dream state right now. But I know when I wake up, that's my real reality. So I hear what you're saying, but you don't know me well enough in the spirit to know that I know that this is a dream. And that I can be conscious enough to know that the dream person is telling me that I don't know that I'm in a dream. But this is YouTube. We only get a certain amount of time. So I think I got to cut this right here. And I'm going to try to pick it back up. And hopefully all of this fits in this video. But come back.